So it is already widely accepted that Kevin Durant will not be a member of the Phoenix Suns next year, so everybody is speculating where might he go this summer. And it's not that easy to figure out the teams. We know two teams in particular that want Kevin Durant, or at least did want Kevin Durant, and that is the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. But two things, even those teams are subject to change, right? If the Warriors go on a deep playoff run and Kuminga balls out, all of a sudden they might not be eager to go get Kevin Durant. If the Rockets go on a run and Jalen Green balls out, all of a sudden they're not that eager to potentially move on from Jalen Green. Not saying those would be the deals, but in terms of player assets, those would be the guys. And obviously the Rockets have all the picks. I don't think the Suns would be doing that for Fred VanVleet, although maybe they would if they got the right, amount of picks back. But those things are subject to change. And we also got to think about the other side of it, and where does Kevin Durant want to go? Which might be the tougher part of the equation, because we don't really know what Kevin Durant wants at this point in his career. Kevin Durant loves to kind of tell us that he doesn't care what people think about him. He doesn't care about legacy in that way. He just wants the ball, and he's going to be remembered as a great. But it is human nature, especially when you're someone like Kevin Durant who already has these type of tags on your name. I understand why most people would not go back to Golden State. At the same time, though, most people wouldn't have went to Golden State in the first place. But I have a hard time believing if Kevin Durant has his pick of the litter, and maybe he won't. That's the other side of it. I'm not sure how many teams are actively pursuing a Kevin Durant deal. Maybe in the offseason it's a little bit different. But if he does have a pick between, let's say 6-7 teams really want Kevin Durant, I don't think the Warriors would be the way he wants to end his career. KD doesn't seem like someone that would want to backtrack. He feels like he already left his mark on that city, on that franchise. So I just don't see the Warriors being a place he wants to go, regardless of everything he said about, let's just not do it now, and I want to wait and see, I want to stick it out, I want to play it through. I believe there was truth to that. Same time, I think he genuinely does not want to go to Golden State. Maybe I'll be wrong in that. In Houston, I like it, but even then, I'm thinking Houston, it's hard to say a year from now, right? With Şengün getting better, Jalen Green getting better, Amen Thompson getting better, who knows what Reed Shepherd is, right? But I don't want Kevin Durant to go somewhere where he would be relied on as much as he still would be in Houston. He would still be the guy, right? And I know a majority of places Kevin Durant goes, he would be the guy for sure. And you know what? Let's not even overthink it. I think Houston would be a great spot for Kevin Durant, assuming Kevin Durant could still be all NBA level, which we have no reason to believe. Even though Kevin Durant, a lot like LeBron, and not saying LeBron right now because what LeBron is doing right now is crazy, but guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, you're not going to see the decline in the numbers. But if you're watching them day to day, you're going to see a little bit of a decline. And I'm not sure Kevin Durant is still that guy at this point. But a team like Houston's going to take care of everything else. They're going to play defense. They're going to board. They're going to do all that. And they would just need KD to get buckets. And I do think that is the primary role KD should be in right now. In Phoenix, he's their best defender. That's absurd to be building a team with Kevin Durant as your best defender in 2025. I think if you're a true championship team at this point in Kevin Durant's career, the only thing he should be best at on your team is scoring the ball, getting buckets. I don't even think Kevin Durant should be the best shooter on your team. Probably shouldn't be one of the best passers on your team. And that's not to diminish how great he actually is. I just think that's where we're running into a little bit of a problem. Kevin Durant's being asked to do too much. Where a team like Houston, he would be able to just slide in, just get buckets, get a couple boards, play make a little bit, but we need you to get buckets. So Houston is a legitimate option for sure. But in terms of any other teams, what other teams would really be going out of their way to go get Kevin Durant? Because when I sit back and think about it, for majority of teams, I find myself asking, do I really want to do that? The first team I thought of was the Clippers. I don't know why. Maybe because he was linked to the Clippers back in the day before he went to Golden State. Obviously, the relationship with James Harden. But then I thought about it. The Clippers would have to give up, let's say, Zubac, Norm Powell, Bogdanovich to make the money work. Maybe a pick or two. I don't even know if the Clippers have picks. But you guys let me know if I'm overthinking it, because I don't feel like that would make the Clippers that much of a better team. And I know that's kind of blasphemous to say about a Kevin Durant deal. And we're seeing it in Phoenix right now. You could have Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, but when Mason Plumlee is your starting center a lot of nights, and now it's Nick Richards, like, you need a lot more than that to win. So I feel like the teams that should be trading for Kevin Durant are the teams that still are going to have a lot left. And I do have a team in mind. It's an obvious one. Only question is, would Kevin Durant want to go there? But I feel like this team would definitely trade for Kevin Durant. I'll explain it when we get to that team. But other teams that might be fascinated by the idea of a Kevin Durant trade. A couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I would have said Minnesota. And that deal would have revolved around Jaden McDaniels and expiring Julius Randle if he were to opt in to $29 million, which I think he would if he was going to Phoenix. But now the way Jaden McDaniels is playing and you consider the deal he's on, if he's going to play at this level, that deal looks very nice. Are you going to trade that? Someone that potentially might be a great asset going forward, are you going to move that for 1 or 2 years of Kevin Durant? Probably not. And for Minnesota, it might be different if you still had prime Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is looking a little bit washed these days. Never been a big Rudy guy, but you can't deny what he actually provided on the court. And if you had prime Rudy with Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards, I might be able to convince myself that's a good big three to build around. But if this is the Rudy you're going to get, and Kevin Durant is going to be 36 or 37 next year, I'm just not trading someone that I put a lot of time and development in Jaden McDaniels, who seems like he's about to flourish. We have him on this good deal if he ends up being the player he's showing himself to be right now. I'm not giving that up for, again, 1 year of Kevin Durant. And if you guys are still watching at this point, you know a big obstacle in this is making up the money that Kevin Durant makes. So team like Indiana, I feel like that's a team where Kevin Durant could go. You got Tyrese Halliburton as your engine. You got Miles Turner, you got Siakam, but there's no way to make that money work. Unless you want to include Pascal Siakam, I just wouldn't imagine the Suns would be that intrigued by Pascal Siakam, but maybe they would, 30 years old. If you can get Pascal Siakam and Benedict Mathurin maybe, but at that point, even if the Suns were interested in that, I don't think Indiana would be. I don't think they're excited about getting a 37-year-old. The other team that has kind of been floated out there is Dallas, and I guess that would have to be like Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall. And that's not a bad deal if you're the Suns, right? And if you're still trying to win and you bring in a bunch of role players to put around Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, I think that would make Phoenix a better team. Ironically, I think almost any of these deals would make Phoenix a better team. I don't even know if that deal would work. Obviously, we're not in the offseason yet. We don't know what these teams' books are going to look like. We don't know what deals they might make before a Kevin Durant deal, so we don't really know. But the idea of PJ Washington, Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall, I actually really like that from the Suns' perspective. If you're trying to win right now, maybe you can get a first-round pick out of them. And for the Mavericks, I guess since they're already completely bought into this plan, I think that would be a good deal for them as well. Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, you still got Max Christie. You still get to keep either one of Najee Marshall or who am I missing? Cody Martin, which is funny, or Caleb Martin, which is funny because I just got done watching Quentin Grimes drop 44 points on the Warriors. But if I want to give Nico Harrison a sliver of credit, that was more of a preemptive move because you don't want to pay whatever Quentin Grimes is about to get this summer. Instead, you have a good role player signed on a good deal, a good salary to include in a deal like this. So I don't hate the idea of Kevin Durant going to Dallas, reunite with Kyrie. You're maybe the best player on the team. Maybe it's AD at this point. I don't really know. I would take Kevin Durant, I guess. I'm not sure actually, but again, I like it. The other team, to me, let's just talk about all Texas teams. Now, it's kind of hard to have this discussion right now because everything's up in the air with Wemby. We're all hoping for a speedy recovery. So let's just assume Wemby does come back healthy. And our starting point here is Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes. That is $37 million in salary right there. And again, it's difficult to even have these discussions right now because we don't know what the cap situation is going to be. I'm not a cap guy. But as of right now, the Spurs are projected to have about $8 million in cap space open this summer. So if I'm right, let me know if I'm wrong. If you're watching this and you're a cap guy, you understand all this, let me know if I'm wrong. But I think that means they would only have to get up to the $43 million as opposed to $51 that Kevin Durant is owed. So you put in Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, that's 37. You throw in Jeremy Sohan, who's going to be making $7 million next year. That's $44 million, and that should be enough hypothetically to bring in Kevin Durant in that salary slot. If I'm the Phoenix Suns, am I doing that? Absolutely not. And if you're the Spurs, are you giving up Sohan I don't think you really care about Keldon at this point. No disrespect, but Keldon, Harrison Barnes. Basically, are you giving up Sohan and multiple first-round picks for Kevin Durant? If I'm the Spurs, I might do it. I might do it. But I think of all of them so far, that is the least likely. Some people might want to bring up OKC. I don't really see that happening. They're not giving up Chet. They're not giving up J-Dub. They got all the picks in the world though, but I don't see them giving up in the salary slots it would take to get Kevin Durant. Although, you know what? Isaiah Hartenstein, $28 million next year. Isaiah Joe around $13 million. You're pretty close with those two guys alone. I just don't see it happening. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should entertain it a little bit more, but we're not going to do that right now. It seems a little bit fanfic. All of it's kind of fanfic. But the most obvious team to me, it's so obvious I don't think anyone has actually said it yet. But to me, the team that should absolutely go get Kevin Durant is the Denver Nuggets, right? Assuming it doesn't work out this year, let's say they get bounced in the second round. We've heard all the Michael Porter Jr. rumors. To me, this is the team. You're a team that, you're an older team, right? You're not old, but you're a team that should be invested in this next 2 to 3 year window more than most teams. You are doing whatever you can to get Nikola Jokic another ring. The Nuggets are a team that doesn't like to spam threes. You would say losing Michael Porter Jr. and that ability he has to be one of the best shooters in the NBA. Obviously, Kevin Durant is no slouch when it comes to shooting. But I'm saying that because in most situations, most teams, if they had a weapon like Michael Porter Jr., he would be taking 8-9 threes a game. With the Nuggets, he takes 6 a game. And that is a role Kevin Durant can fill. Kevin Durant can't fill the, I'm just a chucker, I'm gonna take 10 threes a night. But if you're just gonna slot him into that MPJ role, take 6 threes a night, you're also gonna take your pull-up mid-range jumpers. When Jokic is off the floor, we're gonna run the offense through you. And Kevin Durant would go there and put up a smooth 24, 5, and 4. And maybe that's not what Kevin Durant wants, but in my eyes, that is the ideal role. We got Jokic, we got Jamal Murray, we still got Aaron Gordon, this hypothetical. We might still have Christian Brown and Peyton Watson in this hypothetical, but if you just put Michael Porter Jr., Zeke Naji, you're pretty much there already. And honestly, if I had to give up Christian Brown in this, I would do it. Because again, it is about maximizing the next couple years of Jokic. I'm not saying he's going to fall off a cliff in 2-3 years, but you never really know. And you have the best player in the world who's probably only going to be the best player in the world for a couple more years. So if I can add Kevin Durant to Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, I'm doing that every single time. And I don't feel like that about most teams. I feel like anybody trading for Kevin Durant should have that structure in mind. It shouldn't be Kevin Durant's going to come in here and there's going to be so much pressure on Kevin Durant to be, a big part of our offense and our identity and all that. No, we have our identity. It's Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Kevin Durant could slot into that perfectly in a similar way he did to Steph Curry and Draymond Green. But that's where we get back to the point of, what does Kevin Durant actually want? Does he really want to be someone slotting into the Nikola Jokic system? Or does he want to go somewhere where he could just play the way he wants to play and get buckets and not have to conform at all? And also, do you want to go play with Jokic and have the same thing that happened with Steph Curry in a lot of people's eyes, where they say, what did you do without the Warriors? Do you want to fail in Brooklyn, fail in Phoenix, and then go join the best player in the world the same way you went and joined the best team in the world, arguably the best player in the world at that time? Is that what you want to do? Does Kevin Durant care about that? That stuff we never really truly know. We have an idea of that. We have our opinion of that, but we don't know how much something like that can weigh the moves he wants to make. We don't know how much that weighs whether he wants to go back to Golden State or even go back to OKC and join that quote unquote bandwagon. Or does he want to pick his own destination where he can be the main guy, if not the co-main guy, and the identity of that team be more Kevin Durant orientated than it would be in some place like Denver? And if that is what he wants, I think Houston is that place where it's a bunch of young guys. If they were to win a championship, Kevin Durant would be first billing on that championship. That would be his championship. But if all he cares about is winning and playing good basketball, the answer is Denver. The answer is Denver. And Denver is a team that should go get Kevin Durant if they can get Kevin Durant. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think. about any of those teams. Maybe there's a team I did not mention. Let me know in the comments down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.